Hello, greetings everyone. This is Korean interpreter Robert Holloway. I hope your day is going well. I'm making this video because I often get asked, you don't look Korean, yet you speak the language, kind of how did that happen? And then when you say interpreting, what exactly does that mean? What does that look like? So this video is for you, for those of you who would like to know what it's like a day in the life of a Korean interpreter, specifically a Korean conference interpreter. I'm heading out to a conference. As you can see, I'm here at the airport. I'm waiting for my bags. I just arrived to Washington, D.C., traveling from Chicago. So I'm going to be, over the next couple of days, showing you what it's like, a day in the life of a Korean conference interpreter. So I hope you all are ready. It's going to be a few videos that I'm shooting every day. And then you're gonna see what things are like for me and maybe why I do certain things, how I prepare myself for the booth, or how I prepare for myself for the beginning of the day. So I hope you're all ready. Now, conference interpreting is not easy. It's pretty much the upper echelon of the interpreting world. And conference interpreting will usually happen, with heads of state or presidents or, major, very, very large conferences. So it takes the most highly skilled interpreters to really do it well. Alright, so here I am at the Gaylord Hotel. This is for, again, the SelectUSA Investment Summit. So I'm going to be speaking a little bit more on conference interpreting because I was saying it's like the highest echelon of interpreting. Now, the reason for that is that it's conducted simultaneously. So you might be able to hear that there is someone speaking through the intercoms or through the mic right now. At the same time that that person is speaking, interpreters are talking. So this person is not taking a break. And at the same time, interpreters are having to take that and then transfer it into another language. So that is why it is so difficult. At the same time, all of the vocabulary, all of the idioms, all of the jokes, interpreters have to deal with all of those things. Okay, so that's what conference interpreting is about, and that's what makes it so difficult compared to maybe what we refer to as consecutive interpreting. When someone speaks, they stop, interpreter interprets, and then stops. Next person speaks, stops, interpreter interprets. It's just a continuous, real time, as some people call it, interpretation. That's what simultaneous is. That's what we do at conference.
저는 이렇게 해야 한다고 생각합니다. 그리고 대다수의 국민들이 이렇게 해야 한다고 생각합니다. 버플로 그리고 우발디 텍사스에 있는 분들은 이렇게 해야 한다고 생각하고 있습니다. 우리는 대용량 탄창 및 공격형 무기를 금지해야 합니다. 만약에 금지가 안 된다면 최소 구매 연령은 18세에서 21세.
So you can see in the back that I've been walking. These are the interpreter booths, and what's going on? It is very vigorous work, and it's so mentally challenging and vigorous that simultaneous interpreters typically don't go for more than 15 or 20 minutes at a time before switching off to the next person. So for example, my partner will be interpreting for 15 minutes, maybe 20, and then we switch, and I pick up and I go for 15 minutes and 20. And while I'm interpreting for those 15 or 20 minutes, my partner will then be resting. While at the same time, they can be looking up some vocabulary that might pop up or helping me out in different ways. And I for my partner when I have my downtime. So it's very difficult and vigorous. So for this particular conference, we're actually going to be going for a few hours in this ballroom, and then we will see either breakout sessions or anywhere else that we need to go to interpret. All right, so that's it for now. I'm gonna tell you something about my style of working. Now, while I've been walking throughout the conference hotel here, I've been getting a lot of compliments on the way that I dress. And you can see I have a full kind of traditional African outfit on. And for me, dressing right is a big part of business. It's a big part of life. It's a big part of travel. Why? Because you never know who you're gonna run into. Someone once told me that. When you're traveling, you never know who you're gonna run into. And at the same time, you don't know who you're gonna run into. You wanna be able to represent your culture and what you're standing on, even in the way that you dress. So for that reason, you know, me, I'm very into African culture, very into Korean culture. I have roots in both. So I'm gonna be dressing to represent either one. At the same time, that's gonna, of course, you know, help you, make connections with people. It's gonna make a very good first impression on you, and first impressions are everything. First impressions are everything. Everyone wants to work with someone who looks clean, who looks like they have themselves together, who looks like they're clean cut, and all of these things. So it's only gonna benefit you. So again, dressing nice is a very important aspect for me of work, travel, wherever I go. When you see me, anytime I step out the house, I'm gonna be very nicely dressed. So that is a very, very, very big business tip. All right, so I'm back at the hotel room, and it is the night before the event starts. So what does Robert do the night before an event starts, an interpretation event? Well, you can see in front of me, I have my computer with my vocabulary list. Actually, I won't say mine, but the one that my partner and I put together, and then also a brochure for the event. But the night before is going to depend. Now, my rule for interpretation, my number one rule, is sleep. Get adequate sleep. I'm serious, that's my top rule. Top priority, get adequate sleep. If you can't get adequate sleep before you interpret, it's not, you can't even think straight. Even right now, I'm working on 2 hours of sleep and I can't think straight and get the words out. You can see, you're probably laughing at me right now, but I don't care because I'm tired. So, that's rule number one. Rule number two, get adequate sleep. That, I swear, my rule number one and rule number two are the same. They're that important to me. And then after that, rule number three is then vocabulary. Make sure you up to par on your vocabulary, because if, as an interpreter, you don't know a word, you can't interpret it. If you don't know a word, you cannot interpret it. So the more vocabulary that you know, the better. All right, so we are going to close the video out here for the day. I'm tired. I'm about to go and follow my rule number one and rule number two and get some sleep. And we'll continue tomorrow. And tomorrow we're going to get more into the booth. I'll show you what the booth looks like on the inside, and it will be exciting, and you'll see us in action. And yeah, until then, this is Robert Holloway, Korean interpreter.